Welcome back to Mountain Connections. Right now, we have Wyatt Pike joining us today. He's a current contestant on American Idol from Park City. Wyatt, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Having a good time.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. There's a lot going on with you. And first off, I want to tell you congratulations. We're so excited here in Park City to be cheering for you. Doing so well. You're representing us in an excellent way. We stand behind you 100%. So when you reflect back on the journey so far, I know you can't say too much, but what are your thoughts leading up to what we have seen so far on this season?
Great. Yeah, it's been a wild ride of singing for these celebrity judges and meeting all kinds of great singers and musicians, and really, competition aside, it's just been super fun, and at the end of the day, a great experience for me, and the competition just happens to be a side effect of how much fun we're having.
It's been really fun being here in Park City, watching your season so far, but also watching you grow up a bit and grow into music. You know, I've seen you play at graduations. You've performed here on Park City Television before, at ski resorts. I'm curious, when you reflect back on that time and when you first started playing, do you remember a moment where you realized this was your dream and this is what you wanted to do?
I think it's always been something that I've been really interested in and wanted to do. There have been phases where it's maybe pursuing a business degree or this or that is a wiser, more safe choice. But I think deep down it's always been music. I do remember maybe it was the first time I got a cold call for a gig from I can't remember which restaurant it was in town, but they had seen me somewhere and wanted to have me play, and that felt really awesome. And maybe that was definitely a moment that I realized, hey, I could do this, and it can be a job through high school, and then also something that I love and have a great time doing. So it's been a while that it's been one of the biggest things in my life, and now I'm really excited to have this shift into it being the only thing I'm doing.
You're very talented, and one thing that I want to make sure to bring up is that you're also a songwriter. And when you look back at your audition for American Idol, you performed your own original song that had to do with your family and mental health. It was very personal, very poignant. What made you decide to perform that particular song? And were you worried about how that would come across? Were you nervous at all?
Well, first off, yes, I was definitely nervous. You walk into that room, they kind of push you in there like you're jumping off the high dive into a pool. And it's heart rate up, shaking a little bit in your boots, whatever's happening. But at the end of the day, it was really fun. I did go in with Best for You, a song that I wrote about my sister, because I think it shares my storytelling and songwriting side as well as guitar and singing, which obviously I'm there to show. And so on top of trying to have a good vocal audition, I wanted to share my story and myself with the judges as much as I could. And so I felt like a song that is close to home for me and definitely for my family, that I felt that kind of song would be a good one to do.
And when you write your songs, you feel that that is a great vehicle to tell stories, the songwriting, correct?
Totally. It's something that I used to look at songwriting as like, okay, well, you have to have this big, huge emotion, and then you write this big, huge song about it. And that is true for sure. But I definitely look at it as a way to store my feelings. And it's oh, I feel like this for this couple hours this day or for this amount of time. And I like to store that because then I can go back, whether it was happy, sad, good, bad. I can relive it or remember what I learned from it. And so storing the way that I feel and the way that I go through this life has been great through songs. And if people pick up something from them and relate to them or like them or hate them even, well, great. Like, I'm just happy to have people listening to them. And yeah, it's an honor to be putting them out because at the end of the day, it's just fun for me, and it's a great way to store the way I feel.
And people are connecting with you from all over the world. You've done very well so far in this season. The judges have mostly been very positive, but I'm curious, was it hard sometimes taking criticism? Was there anything that you had to do to really understand that this is a process and it's learning? I'm just wondering how difficult it was to hear the negative feedback.
Honestly, the negative feedback has maybe been my my favorite part, that sounds weird, but maybe the part I'm most grateful for, in that it's Katy Perry giving me this advice to, I don't think this was aired in my audition on the show, but in the audition, she told me, slow down, like take a deep breath, reset. And that was really great advice, because I did go in there with a high heart rate and everything going a million miles an hour, and taking that deep breath in the next round, kind of feeding off of her advice, it was really helpful. And so all of the critiques, whether they've aired or not, there's been some great feedback, both positive and hyping me up, but then also some, hey, try this or work on this. And it's really valuable, especially coming from Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie.
And recently, you performed a duet with Cassandra, and that was an incredible performance. What I really noticed about that, Wyatt, is how calm and assured you were. I had to remind myself that you're a contestant, not a professional musician here, because you were able to really showcase her. She was so nervous. She had a lot of fear, and you just took that and gave her so much confidence. It was such an incredible performance. How did you do that? How did you not feed into her fear, and how did you help her overcome that?
I never knew in the day that we had to hustle and get that duet together. I did not pick up on maybe how nervous she was. They had us apart a lot to do little takes on how's it going with Wyatt. You can tell us the truth. He's not here. And same goes the other way around to me. And so I don't know that I picked up on maybe her nerves and excitement as much as I think America did and the cameras did. And so I was really just trying to have a good time, and I think I've got a bunch of experience with kind of arranging some duets and that kind of stuff. Maybe not duets formally, but I've worked in band settings and played around with experimenting, and I've done a lot of things that maybe helped in that situation, and so I felt pretty comfortable. And honestly, she was great to work with. She's so talented and just sings harmonies out of the blue like an angel that it was easy. And so to see the other side of that, and that I helped her feel safe and whatever her words were, it was an honor, because I really just had a good time. And I think we knocked it out of the park as far as what we wanted to do. And we went out there and did it.
You absolutely did. And this is really fun behind the scenes intel, Wyatt. I'm wondering what you can say about what is coming up next. I know there's not too much that you can share with us, but what can we expect to see?
Right. Well, so I think the only thing I can't tell you is whether I made it into the top 24 or not. So that is coming up here. You're going to find out who is this season. That is something I absolutely cannot share, but I can share that the next round is the showstopper round. That's what they're calling it. And it's with the full American Idol band. The leader of it is this guy, Chris Pooley. He is epic, and that's the only way to describe him. He's just epic. The whole band is all these talented players, and so I got to go in, rehearse. I did a song by George Ezra called Blame It On Me, and so I rehearsed with a vocal coach. We arranged it for the band, rehearsed with the band, and then rehearsed on stage and did the performance. And I feel I did everything I wanted to. I was happy regardless of any outcome as far as competition goes. I just had a really good time on stage. It's a big, huge stage at Dolby Theater where they host the Oscars, not the Grammys, the Oscars. And it was a blast. So that's the next round. It's coming up. I sing Blame It On Me by George Ezra with the full band, and I had a blast. So I hope people like watching it.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Looking forward to that. And aside from American Idol, you're in school for music. How have things been going since you graduated just a couple years ago?
They've been going well. I took a semester, or not a semester off, a gap year after high school. I'm trying to find the words here. A gap year after high school to play music and just get some time off from school. I felt that I wanted time to explore music and try things. And so I made a record and played a bunch of gigs. I worked for Mountain Town Music. I'm sure you know Brian Richards. He runs a bunch of concerts with Mountain Town. And so I worked with them and really just dove into music as far as I could head first during that year, and applied to music school. It's a school called Berklee College of Music out in Boston. And so I ended up getting into that and started in May 2020. And so with COVID, it was shifted online. So I did a semester online, was supposed to move there in August 2020. Again, they had to close because of COVID, which I totally understand. No worries. It's a bummer, but it's all right. And did another online semester, and I've been learning a lot. And just being there is a great time because everybody is in music, loving music, there to do music. I don't think you go to music school if you're not set on music. And so it's really fun to be in that group of people. You just make friends really easily. So it's been a blast. I'm taking a semester off right now regardless of how far I made it or did not make it in the competition, I wanted to be able to capitalize on some of the exposure and that kind of thing I was going to get. And it's already starting to happen a little bit on social media and that kind of thing. So I wanted to be able to ride that wave of excitement and make the most out of it, get some songs out, record some things while all of this stuff was happening. And so I took a semester off, but planning to go back to Berkeley at some point, depending on how long this wave keeps going.
And you are getting quite a lot of press recently. Wyatt, if we want to follow along with you and experience this journey with you, what's the best way to connect?
I think the best way to connect with me is likely through Instagram. It's just Wyatt Pike. It looks like it's spelled out on Insta, or not on Insta, on the TV right there. And Instagram is probably where I'm most active, but I do have a website, wyattpike.com, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, I'm on it. And also on Spotify. Give me a listen. I released a new song today, actually, and all kinds of things coming up. So it's going to be fun, and I'm happy to have people following along. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Wyatt Pike, for joining us today. We hope that when you have a chance, you will come back to Park City Television and perform once again here in our studios. And again, congratulations. It's been really fun watching your journey so far. And we Parkites, we stand behind you. And thank you for representing our small mountain town so well. And good luck. We'll be back with more right here on Mountain Connections right after this.